Is Michael Myers going to have his definitive conclusion in the upcoming Halloween 2018 film, as we have brand new information that Jamie Lee Curtis is returning in the film as Laurie Strode, but the question lingers, are we going to see some sort of a conclusion between brother and sister? Are we going to have some sort of definitive conclusion as to the backgrounds of Michael Myers and why he can't die? Now, many people within the Halloween fandom have been demanding and wanting to see another Halloween film following Resurrection for many years. And now we have Halloween 2018 scheduled for release on October 19th, 2018, and this is going to be, if anything, the closest thing we're going to be getting to Halloween 9. Now the thing is, we understand based on the IMDb reveal that Laurie Strode comes back to have a final confrontation with her brother Michael Myers, the masked figure who was haunting her, chasing her, and stalking her for nearly 4 decades. And this movie's supposed to be following 40 years after Jamie Lee Curtis, aka Laurie Strode, escapes Michael Myers. Now, we can only assume that this is going to be taking place during the time of Resurrection, pretty much making Resurrection non-canon, because you have to ask yourself, where does this film fall in terms of continuity, in terms of main canon continuity within the film? Where does Resurrection fall after this film? If Laurie Strode comes back once again in the film as Michael's sister and trying to have some sort of final confrontation with Michael, then where does this put Halloween Resurrection in terms of it being canon? For me personally, I cannot wait to see this, because John Carpenter, who is actually writing the film, has actually even stated that this movie is going to go deeper into the origins of Michael Myers as to why he can't perish, and having a definitive conclusion to the story and finding out what happens with Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael by the end of their confrontation. One of 2 scenarios may actually play out in this film. Scenario number 1, Laurie Strode kills Michael Myers. In some way, shape, or form, she discovers a method or a way to finally put down Michael for good in order for him never to come back ever again. Or scenario number 2, Michael Myers finally kills off his sister Laurie Strode, which is a possibility in the film, because in Halloween Resurrection, we all originally assumed that perhaps maybe his sister had died after she fell off the building rooftop, with Michael having to look down upon her, seeing her laying flat on down onto the ground. But it looks like 4 decades later, we're going to be having Michael return. So post your comments down below, guys. What are your overall thoughts on Michael having to seemingly pursue his sister once more in this film? Because many people within the fandom have been calling this some sort of a cop-out film in not getting a definitive Halloween 9, but instead having to cater to those hardcore fans and bringing in Laurie Strode once again, and what many fans believe this to be some sort of a cop-out in trying to tell a definitive story after Halloween Resurrection. Now again, there have been certain Halloween films in the franchise that were pretty bad. Halloween 3, some people would refer to Halloween 5 or 6 perhaps, but the original classics, I would have to say Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 4 was awesome. There were other Halloween movies as well that were just as good, but for me, having to see this, I'm a little iffy on whether or not this should actually happen, because we have to ask ourselves as to what the narrative is going to be. Why is she going to have another, or quote-unquote, final confrontation with her brother? How is she any different now than how she was 4 decades prior on Halloween? Seeing Michael be on a killing spree on that fateful night where she survived, what's different about her now? Obviously enough, she's wise, she's understanding more of her brother, but having to go further into this film, I do believe that this film is going to blow Rob Zombie's Halloween movies out the water. That's already a given, because John Carpenter actually promised to make this film the darkest, goriest, and most intense Halloween film of all time, which I am personally looking forward to seeing what his vision is going to be, because this is the creator of the Boogeyman himself. However, the question lingers, is he going to execute the story to the point where the audience is satisfied with the conclusion of Laurie Strode's and Michael Myers' confrontation? Because according to IMDb and several other movie sources, this is going to be the final movie involving Michael Myers and possibly Halloween as a whole. Because if this is going to wrap up the entirety of Halloween, what a way to end it in a bang than having the original Laurie Strode from the first film, from the original first Halloween film, return and tying in the events involving Michael Myers. Now here's the thing, many people within the horror fandom have wanted to see alternative spin-offs involving some sort of a crossover between Michael and perhaps maybe one day It or Jason or perhaps Freddy Krueger or Pinhead. People want to see crossovers with horror icons. It's been done before in various other films and even in horror itself, as seeing Jason fight Freddy and several other things happen, and I do think that market-wise, Halloween has the potential to smash box office records, as did Stephen King's It remake, as we saw that early on this year. So I personally feel that having Michael be on some sort of killing spree in order to pursue his sister is going to be great, but I also feel that the narrative of the story is going to be Laurie trying to lure Michael in, trying to bait him in into finding out where she is, and possibly trying to definitively put Michael down for good. Maybe she might have some assistance from the people within the town, perhaps maybe other family members if that's going to be possible. We don't know much information about that, which is why I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a video is posted onto this channel in conjunction to Halloween. And a lot of people, you know, including News Weekly and IMDb and Bloody and Disgusting have been reporting this, but people have either been A, very satisfied and happy about this, or B, they had some sort of negativity expressed on the idea that this film is going to be trash. Now, if you guys believe that this film is going to be trash, let me know as to why, because a lot of people even agreed in saying that perhaps maybe Rob Zombie should have been the one to make a Halloween 3, while other people disagreed in saying finally we have John Carpenter return in correcting what was you know, Halloween, because people felt as if Rob Zombie pretty much diminished and ruined the Halloween films. Now, other people are gonna say, oh, well, I'm tired of seeing this old-ass hag return and trying to fight her brother, and I agree to an extent of seeing Laurie Strode over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and having to battle against Michael. So I really do hope, if this proves that Halloween Resurrection is non-canon, I really do hope that we have a definitive explanation as to whatever happened during the events of Halloween Resurrection. If, of course, it was a dream sequence, if, of course, she survived the fall and she ends up being somewhere else. But either way, I personally feel as if you should be super excited, because the way Michael Myers is going to be portrayed in this film is going to be unlike any other version of Michael that we've seen before. According to John, more aggressive, more hateful, more vengeful. So seeing him in that comatose state, having to realize that his sister is alive and pursuing her and doing everything and anything he could to kill her, is going to be fun to watch, because the question lingers, is Michael going to get the job done against his sister? Now, many people have said following H2O, following Resurrection, that are we really going to ignore the events of those two films? Because it doesn't seem to make any sense to me that they're doing this following those two films, but yet at the same time, it's like we're not really sure if those two films are going to be canon or not. And I was watching another tuber by the name of Michael Myers Fan, or the Michael Myers Fanatic, shoutouts to him. He always was very enthusiastic about Halloween until he watched the Rob Zombie movies and whatnot, and he even said it himself, you know, what's the point of seeing this film? I mean, are we gonna see Resurrection be canon after this? Like, how do you really place this film on a pedestal to where it's comparative to the other movies? Is the movie going to be good? I have every reason in the world to tell you that yes, this film is going to be amazing, just because of the lineup and the vision that John has. But you also have to ask yourself, it's like, how would they explain the sudden age of Laurie Strode if Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back, and since it's supposed to be after the first two films, assumingly so, then how are they going to follow the events of Resurrection? How are they going to explain, you know, how Michael and Laurie both have like this loony relationship together, like as to why he's always in pursuit of her and whatnot? It's sort of like the whole Jason resurrecting over and over and over again. It's like there's no explanation. So hopefully enough, this film is going to further solidify, you know, Michael's origins as to why he can't perish. You know, Jamie Lee Curtis's plan on trying to kill her, you know, her brother. But I'm really glad that they're bringing back Jamie, because she deserves a much better ending than Resurrection, because we can all agree that Halloween Resurrection's ending for her was terrible. because she kissed her brother, she fell off, and she died, quote unquote, and that was just stupid. And then after that, Michael Myers goes off to kill random people, just like in Scream 4 with Sydney and her friends. So Laurie Strode, to me, deserves better than resurrection. And if she has to die in this film, then guess what? She has to die in this film. If in fact she has to kill Michael Myers, then that's what needs to happen. She needs to kill Michael Myers. I mean, it's either or for this film. We can't have some definitive, mutual understanding between the two to where she finally convinces Michael to change his ways. That can never happen. But looking at it from an overall narrative standpoint, I mean, we don't know if this is going to be some sort of an origin story or a true reboot. If not, it's going to pick up 40 years after the events of 1978. So it's like, are we going to ignore the events of what happened in the other movies? Because obviously enough, we understand that this is supposed to be quote unquote Halloween 3, the true Halloween 3, according to many. So it's like, are we going to ignore the events of what actually happened? Are we going to acknowledge the second film at all? Is Jamie going to be, making somewhat of an impact in trying to kill her brother? It's like, where do we fall in this? So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope you guys are stoked and ready for this film. If you guys are new to the channel, punch that subscribe button, guys. If you guys cannot wait for this movie, hit that like button. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.